moving right along, and you can see there's some little stone retaining walls happening there. That's from the castings I've been putting together. Just got a little bit on this side to go to that little join there, and then we'll mesh in a bit of just normal rockery scenery from that. So that'll give us our little loading ditch. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here yet, whether I'll put a little hopper in to load these cars or what. It'll probably have to be up there, of course, so that you can move backwards and forwards. I'll have a little think about that in the meantime while I get the other stuff done. And the retaining wall along the edge there is moving down towards the building. So a few more casting lots and we'll be done. And then build a little transfer shed about there. And those three little bits are in between the track. So all in all, this little area is coming together. We'll get a bit more plaster on there and get paint on and scenery, and off we go. So you'll see you in the next bit. Well, moving along, and I've decided to put a little bit of a coat of paint on that base there, just to give me a bit of a better perspective of what it can look like rather than staring at the wood. I've still got to finish off down in here, of course, and get some plaster under there, but that is next on the agenda. So there's an overall view, standing back a bit, of what I'm up to at the moment. Well, back again. As you can see, I finally got back into town and got some more plaster, put that on there in that little area there, finish that off, and now I've got the base coat of paint, and all various colours there, all light grey, dark grey, and a bit of gucky green underneath it, and then the really watery black over the top. That sort of gives the, well, I think so, it gives the rock a bit of texture to start with, and then you can put your fine scenic material over the top of it to finish it off. That's about as far as we can go in that little area at this stage until the paint dries. Now I've only got one more small bit of plaster to do around the other side of that little hill there, and apart from that, we swing around to this area. Oops. We swing around to this area here. I've just got to finish that off. I had to do some more little retaining wall bits there. I'll dry them. Finish this little access road off with a bit more plaster and get that sorted out. And also this little corner here needs to be finished off. So we've got our track running in there, our feed track. I'm still not entirely sure what I'm going to build over the top of this yet as a feed mechanism into the little ore cars, but they'll basically rock up in there like so. Probably need something up here so that you can sort of back two in and then pull one forward and be able to fill it up at once, or something that covers both. I don't know yet. I'll have to let my brain sort that out, but that's the basics of that in there. So there's just more ballasting and a bit of scenic work to do here and move it down, and then we can get on with the transfer platform down where the narrow gauge meets the standard gauge. Alright, back again after a short delay. Been really hot for a few days, so haven't been able to get out here. It's just been too uncomfortable. Haven't got the shed insulated yet, so it just gets too hot too quick. But anyway, it's not too bad today, so I thought I'll come back out here and do a little bit. So what's happened is, in this area here, that's all painted, and now that has scenic material on it. So that's basically done, and I've come all the way around the corner here and touched up next to the little narrow gauge track as well. Finished painting over the other side of the hill here, around that side there. That's all done now. So that just needs a little bit of scenic material and that'll be done. almost time to position a little steam shovel in here. Now, this looks fairly mined out, this area, and that's how I'm going to model it. It's a quarry that once was, and it's pretty well on its last legs now. So that's how I'll model all the equipment sitting around, just about seen its last days. They're just pulling away the dregs, loading up into the ore cars here. I have some sort of a broken down old loading facility there. So that's what we're up to there. Meanwhile, there's more castings working their way down here. Just got a little gap from there to the building. So one more round of that little casting block. I'll finish that area off, and I just need one more little half piece for down in here to finish that off, and then I can fill this area in with a bit of plaster and scenic material. So one more little round of plastering castings there, and a bit more plaster. Got scenic material all along the side there now that runs adjacent to the narrow gauge track. So that'll continue all the way down there until it gets to the end. Right, apart from painting and scenery, that little bit of wall done. And at the same time, I'll put the last little bit on that wall again. This slow little journey continues. Now I have got paint on that plaster. I finished off the plaster there that was needed to be done, and now I've got paint on. And once that dries, I'll get a layer of some ground cover on there and finish ballasting that track. Righto, I'll just wrap this video up. I've come back and done some more scenery there. The overall picture gives you a bit of an idea where this is all going on. And I've just been working on this little area here, that little hill there, which has got a little access track into the old quarry. And over this way, put more ground cover and greenery, and what you probably can't quite see is a ballast of the track into that little feed area there. So that quarry area there, I'm just going to leave that for a while. I've got to work out in my head what I'm going to put in there. I know I've got the idea that it's a mined out mine, so there's not much left happening in there. They're just cleaning up the dregs, but I've got to work out what sort of structures and little buildings and that sort of gear to put in there yet. So we'll let that percolate in my head while I go on with this area down here. Just where those wires are sticking up, just to the right of that. I've got to build a little transfer shed between the narrow gauge and the broad gauge, or standard gauge, whatever you like. So a little transfer shed's going to go in there. Now I think there's not really much you can buy off the shelf for that sort of stuff, so I reckon I'll have a crack at scratch building one. I'll draw up some plans and see how I go. I've got plenty of scale wood stuff to make it out of, so I might as well have a crack at that. So on that note, I'll wrap this video up and we'll catch you in the next one when I start making a transfer shed.